So, you explained about this part before. High quality of life can be
Quality
great,
of life,
but
yeah.
it's better to read one by
Scandinavian. I would
Scan,
usually Scandinavian.
Scandinavian. We put the stress on D.
Scandinavian. No, I think the most emphasis is on scare.
Oh,
Sca.
scan. Okay,
Scandinavian.
Scandinavian.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and
Um,
Sweden, Norway, Denmark, blah blah blah.
yep.
Share a bond.
That
Okay.
goes beyond geographical proximity. These nations, with their Viking heritage, are known for their strong social welfare systems. So welfare is more about whether people are provided for.
Yeah. For example, yeah,
Are they health
medicals. Yeah,
healthy, happy, and do they have enough money?
yeah,
Um,
GDP.
so a social welfare system is a bit different to GDP though. Social welfare system is about how a society decides to reallocate some of its resources to make sure that everyone has
Is
access to health, has access to some money, and is able to therefore have a reasonably happy life even if they're poor. Um, so strong social welfare systems include things like um, pay support payments for students, because in many places students are very, very poor because they can't also work jobs at the same time as studying. Um, Social welfare systems sometimes include unemployment benefits. So if you're not employed, you still get a small amount of money each fortnight from the government. Um,
But Australia has the same thing, I think. Yeah,
yeah,
social.
we
What's
have
the
a
difference between?
we don't have a strong social welfare system because they've starved it of resources. So we do have a degree of universality, that is, everyone is entitled to some access to some of these supports. But for example, if you're unemployed in Australia and you're on payments associated with that, you get paid so little money that you can barely survive.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
didn't know that.
Whereas it used to be like 20 or 30 years ago, it used to be closer to um, a certain percentage of the minimum wage. They set it at a certain point. They haven't increased it. They temporarily increased some of those payments during COVID, um, to kind of keep the economy going. And it had a massive positive effect on people's lives. And then they let them stop after that. Um, and another social welfare provision is aged pensions. So government provided age pensions.
Superannuation here. Yeah.
Superannuation is separate. Superannuation is money that I put aside while I'm working that I then have access to when I retire.
Okay.
An aged pension is a baseline payment that everyone gets when they're above the age of 67 or 68, once they're no longer working. So that's why it's social welfare. It means that, let's say you were poor your whole life and you never had a job, you didn't put away any superannuation, or maybe you had a low paying job and the superannuation you put away was not enough and you need to retire, there's still an aged pension there. You can still get a basic amount of money. And what happens in Australia for working class people and middle class people, even if they've got a super, they combine their superannuation with their pension, so it stretches out longer. So the superannuation money gradually pays out to them over 20 years, and they have the aged pension as well.
Oh,
And so you put,
they can have both of them.
unless their superannuation is very large.
Yeah.
So I think my parents, I don't think either of them gets the aged pension because they've actually got a access to a pension scheme and superannuation that was very generous through,
At that time it was very generous. Yeah.
and it was a private system. It was through their
Yeah.
employer.
Yeah.
But if either of them did something stupid, like spent all their money or gave it away, they would still, at the end of the
Tell
day,
them do not give them to any charity. Just
I,
motivate. Yeah.
still at the end of that process, if everything went wrong and they had no money left, they would still get the age pension. It would come back in. So you're right. If you've got lots of money, you don't get it. Although you'd be surprised. Like my grandfather, who he owned his own house and he had a reasonable amount of money there. He was still getting part of the age pension as well. Um, so it's actually fairly generous for people who are retired.
Hmm, that's good. Yeah. But one question here, I didn't understand.
Seven, or it might be 68
Yeah,
now.
68. Yeah. Okay.
They've been gradually increasing it.
Yeah, it might be 70 next years. Okay. Despite their individual identities, they often present a united.
Front.
No, why did they use, for example, atmosphere?
An atmosphere can't really be united. You could talk about a shared atmosphere. They have a shared atmosphere of some kind, or or they create an atmosphere through these things that they've got in common. But it's the phrase is really a united front. That is a single. Um, when you look at that group of countries, they're actually projecting a single set of external policies.
So United Front, can you give us another example for your United Front? For example, can we say that the United Front? Right?
So what you would say is the group of eight project a united front in policy negotiations with the government.
Oh, okay.
So they all come together and they basically speak with one voice when it comes to
Okay.
how
Yeah, great.
how the government is
React.
is told by them what to do. The government doesn't necessarily listen to them, but
Okay. Yeah, with languages that are, which one do you choose?
okay.
Similarly,
So
yeah.
be no, mutually, because
Oh
it's
my
about
God.
intelligibility. So intelligible means understandable. Mutual intelligibility is the idea that people can understand each other's languages or understand each other's
So,
knowledge.
okay, mutually intelligible. What does it mean,
Mhm.
intelligible? It means it can be heard easily.
It means that you can make sense of it. So, for example, um, many speakers of French um,
intelligible,
and Italian find their languages sufficiently mutually intelligible that it's easy to communicate, even though the languages are distinct in other ways. Um,
I mean
but the
their
scan
accent or the
no,
language.
literally the languages
It's
are
very hard. I didn't. I talked to some Italian people. How do you say that? It's very hard.
so so my partner, for example, she speaks Spanish
Spanish. Yeah, you told me.
fluently. She can understand Italian.
Oh, okay.
If people are talking Italian, she can pretty much 95% understand what
That's
they're
great.
talking about, unless it's very obscure. Um, and
Because the similarity of the two languages, maybe. Yeah.
that's right. And she can
Yeah.
understand Portuguese when it's written, but because of the accents, the Portuguese accents,
Yeah.
I think sometimes she struggles with understanding Brazilian Portuguese
Yeah.
because the accent is very different.
Yeah. I got it. Perfect. So mutually intelligible to varying degrees. Yeah. And
The same is true in the former Yugoslavia. I think Serbs and Croats and
yeah,
Slovenians can
yeah.
understand each
I've
other's
heard about this one.
languages.
Yeah. I have
Yep.
one friend from Serbia. Yeah.
Mutually intelligible.
Perfect. Yeah. And which one do you choose here? Embody a unique blend of, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. A
So,
blend.
yeah, blend of rivalry and brotherhood, but it means
Mm.
these two are contradicts with each other, you know?
Yeah, so it's a unique blend. The idea of a blend, if you blend something, you're not necessarily fully mixing them. You're not reducing them to a single substance. You're breaking them up into, like if you put something in a blender, um, you're
Yeah,
making it
I
into
know.
lots of
The
small parts and it becomes like a suspension rather than an actual
blending.
mixture.
Yeah, but
Mm,
one question is when we said that rivalry, these countries do not rival to each other at all, I think. They always support each
mm.
other. Can you give us one example, just one example of a rivalry?
Yeah, okay. So I would say in the cultural arena, maybe something like they would have quite strong rivalries in sport.
Hmm.
Um, and I think they would also have a degree of like educational rivalry. I think they might want to see each other as, having better universities or better
Oh, okay. Yeah,
schools than
you're
their
right.
neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they're saying I guess rivalry doesn't necessarily imply enmity. It doesn't imply that they're enemies.
Mm.
Um, so the contradiction isn't, it's only a partial contradiction because, of course, you can be a rival with your brother.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, people are often rivals with their family members, right?
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. And Adam, which one do you choose here? Such as
Maintaining, I think.
maintaining, why not pertaining?
Well, pertaining is about um, the relationship, the logical relationship to
Let me show you.
um,
Pertaining, I
it's about a relationship. So if something pertains to something else, it's related to it or
related, yeah, but
can
look
be
at here.
applied to it in some way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Being
Mm,
effect or existence in a specified place.
mm. Whereas they're talking here about something you can do to a welfare system, right?
Yeah.
Maintain it. You have to maintain it.
So,
A welfare model.
but you know, these countries, it's just that they face challenges. Actually, these countries do not have any problems, I think, or challenges.
No, they're facing, each of them have similar challenges. So they do have challenges, and this is a big one, maintaining their welfare models in the face of globalization.
Because I checked
Um,
their welfare system, it seems that it is getting better and better. It is not getting worse. I think.
so one way that Norway pays for its welfare system is that it sells natural gas, I think, or oil. Um, so these are problems, right? That
Mm,
the the way that their economies work don't necessarily pay for the systems in an ongoing way.
mm.
They make it hard to maintain. Uh, and there's a range of economic things that go with that. Like I think they've got very service-based economies, but then they've got some industries where, like tech industry, where
Yeah, tech industry, you're right. One of the
um,
Finland has that problem with nuclear, I think, or I don't know.
so there's a problem there that the economists talk about. The wages in the tech industry have to be really high because they're high globally. So that actually draws up the wages in all of the other sectors. And so you end up with an economy that no longer kind of pay
Their
for,
employees.
yeah, all of these other models unless they increase taxes. And then if they increase taxes, they risk losing some of the key sectors and so on. So
Yeah,
that's what they mean by maintaining the welfare model. They mean economically keeping it going.
yeah,
Um, mm.
exactly. And let us also